Hello and welcome to the post show of the match between Delhi Capitals and Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians won the match comfortably by 8 wickets and with 5 overs to spare. They're at the top of the table with 6 points. I have got Joydeep Mukherjee and Bharat with me to discuss about the match. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll straight away go to Bharat. Do you think that Meg Lanning and obviously the entire team, read the pitch wrong? Probably.
Perhaps they did, but I also give credit to Mumbai's bowlers. First of all, just leave Saika. First of all, even if you look at their seamers, they tended to bowl a fuller length. Yeah, there was a little bit of help for the seamers up front. There was a little bit of seam movement, but the seamers as well, they tended to bowl fuller, they look for swing, they look for seam movement as well. So yeah, obviously a couple of catches went down, but I would I would give credit to Mumbai's bowlers uh, rather than putting the blame on today's batters.
Joydeep, of course, you have seen a lot of Saika because she plays for Bengal. She has been fantastic in the first three matches.
Yeah, she's been doing well consistently for the past 3 years. I remember seeing her about 7, 8 years back with Murtaza Lodkar when he was the coach. And he has special things to say. Unfortunately, Murtaza is not with us anymore. But he would have been really happy to see Saika get so much of success because he was instrumental in shaping and later, of course, Shiv Sagar Singh and everything else that we know of. But it was Murtaza. Murtaza himself was a very, very good left-arm spinner in his own right. And he always told me that this girl is special. And Saika was a little kid. But, she's consistently doing well for Bengal. She's playing the challenger. She's doing well there. And as you know, this game is about confidence. Once you know you've done it somewhere, despite of all the skill set that you have and everything that you have, once you go there and you've done it at a level, then it's easier for you to do it at the next level. Because she's been so good for Bengal in the challenges everywhere, she's just taken her game to the next level.
Absolutely. But having said that, Saika, of course, gave the important breakthroughs. And then later on, Hayley Matthews, Bharat, fantastic with the ball again.
Yeah, she's been doing really well. She gave the ball a little bit of flight, and obviously by then Delhi were down and out. I'd like to add something about Saika. I think she sticks to the basics. That I think is her key strength. If you look at how she bowls, sometimes she bowls from slightly wide of the crease, sometimes from mid crease, but she basically zooms the ball on the stumps. She has a good armor. Occasionally, it seems to come a little bit scrambled the rotation, so that I think adds to and the edge gives her another go in the armor. So that is something that she does. Sticks to her basics, and obviously Haley Matthews as well did the job right at the end. Obviously, she dropped. I think her fielding wasn't that good, but she made up with her bowling.
Well, Delhi Capitals had a longish batting lineup, but do you think the batting order cost them probably, Joydeep?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was 105 wicket with all the help that was there. I think they had a bad day in office. That's about it. Some days doesn't work for you. And when you play so many games day in and day out, there'll be days when these sort of evenings will happen. Just forget about it and carry on. That's why you saw Meg Lanning and Jemima also while fielding. They were smiling, laughing. It's a bad day in office, but just continue and get up. It's a long tournament. There was a little bit of help, but I don't think it was 105 wicket. It was 145, 50 wicket maybe.
Yes, that is where I think my first question was to Bharat. It was a little related to that this pitch was actually probably a 145, 150 pitch, and Delhi was going after a 200 score probably, or at least that seemed to be the approach. That's why I had asked the first question to Bharat. But you found a problem with the Delhi approach, or you just thought it's just one bad day?
I think David said they had a bad day in office. Sometimes it happens. You play back-to-back matches, and sometimes you just lose. As I said, I would rather give the credit to Mumbai's bowlers, not just Saika, the way their seamers bowl up front. There's a little bit of grass, perhaps. There was a little bit of movement, but they looked to bowl slightly fuller. They looked for swing. They looked for movement of the pitch. So even the seamers, if you look at how they bowled, I think I would rather give the credit to Mumbai's bowling.
Uh, Jaideep, someone like Radha Yadav, again a left arm spinner in the opposite camp, hasn't really performed well with the ball. Seeing someone like Saika performing, what do you think Saika is doing different from the rest of the left armers? And if I may include another name, Tanuja Kanwar, she's also doing very well, the left arm spinner. But rest of the left arm spinners, especially the ones who are in the were in the Indian squad in the World Cup, have been pretty, pretty normal. Let's say, like not impressive, not much
Yeah,
impressive.
Trisha, that's a great question. I think what separates these two from the others is their control over the pace at which they bowl. The best spinners that I have played, even in one day cricket, they'll bowl six balls at four different paces. So we always feel that the pace at which you bowl is only pertains to Test cricket, but not so. So if I played an Anil Kumble in a game, he would bowl six balls at four different paces. So although there's not much happening in the pitch, it's pretty, uh, you know what's going on, but still you can't just milk him because the pace is slightly up and down, 5-7 miles per hour up and down. Subtle, little bit of flight, and I think she has great control over the flight. And one thing she has that is very special, under the gun she doesn't get quick, she gets slower. That's a very big quality to have. Something like a Chahal has. You most spinners will get quick under the gun, and that's playing to the batter's hands because once you bowl quick, less revolutions on the ball, less happening, coming like a medium pace. Whereas if you can toss it up in the air, more revolutions on the ball before it hits the ground, more punches out of the pitch. I think that's what Psyche has. And on top of it all, most important, she's very accurate.
Bharat, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, something similar. As I already said, she has very good control. She sticks to her basics. If you look at how she bowls, as Joydeep said, she imparts enough reps on the ball, and she basically sticks to the basics and has very good control. She uses the crease reasonably well. What I saw today was sometimes she was bowling slightly from mid crease, then she went slightly wide of the crease. Perhaps she was sowing the seeds of doubt a little bit there. So yeah, just someone who sticks to her strengths and reaps the rewards for it.
And probably the only bowler to have bowled with the purple cap on, because
Yes.
probably the only bowler so far to have bowled with the
They'll
purple
probably
cap on.
sleep you with the two.
I'm sure she is. Uh, Also, one team has the purple cap, the other team has the orange cap. Meg Lanning, fantastic as usual, Bharat. Though today I wouldn't say it was the usual
Yes,
flair
yes.
that we see.
Yeah, wickets were also they were also crumbling, right? They're losing wickets in groups in bunches. So yeah, she's a pretty special player, a trademark Australian type player who looks to come forward at every given opportunity. And when she gets the chance, she plays the cut. She rocks back and plays the cut. And well, in some ways, yes, she reminds me a little bit of Belinda Clark in the 1997 Hero Honda World Cup, or when she scored at 90 odd in the Cricket for World Cup in 2001 against New Zealand. She bats a bit like that in terms of how she punches, how she cuts. Yeah, she played well, but again, wickets were going at the other end, so obviously she wasn't able to hit top gear or push the gears up the ante.
Jadip, do you see Jemima's role a little unclear in the Delhi batting lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's an India number three, and you're going to treat her that way. Suddenly, it's very difficult in this version, especially for a three to go and play 5 and 6, or a 5 and 6 to come and play three. The latter is still probably possible, but the former is very difficult because the skill sets required for these positions are totally different. Can you imagine, Mahendra Singh Dhoni batting at three, or somebody at three going and batting at 5 and 6? They just don't have the skill set. So I just feel that it'll be good for her. She's a game-changing player. She's in decent form. So you want her to know, and I've worked a lot with 2020 teams, be it KK or anybody. Roles are the most important thing. So if you can designate the roles, because we say a lot of coaching, but there's not a lot of coaching time you actually get with these players, because the franchise gets together about 4 or 5 days, maybe a week before the tournament starts. The stars come 1 or 2 days before, At least that's with the men. So you don't really get a lot of time to coach. So more it's about strategy, about roles, about plans. Like today, I saw left arm spinner bowling with everybody inside the circle in the offset and get a hit over cover. So that you won't see that in men's cricket too often because the planning I think is better. So now that makes the captain look a bit foolish. So if you're bowling inside the stumps, long on and deep, you will get a back. But the moment you bowl on then if you're bowling outside the off stump, then the long on can come up and the sweeper cover can go back. So I think it's more about roles and plans that needs to develop as this is the first edition. It's really good for what we see, but I think that is what it will come down to. That will separate the better teams from the not so good ones, and also I think that will close the gap. Whoever does that better will be the better team in future. Because I honestly feel all the teams are touch and go. See, the foreign players, I believe in the men's IPL or the WPL, the 4 foreign players are more or less the same. It's then you add some Indian players to it, and then the rest. So whichever team has a very good mix of Indian players is the one that will always do well. If you look at the
Absolutely.
IPL back in the day, Chennai, they would have 4 foreign players and 5 guys who were playing for India at the time. Mumbai at one time had 7 guys who were playing for India in the last 6 months. Whether it's Ishan Kishan, Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma, Surya, blah, blah, blah. So there are, Rahul Chair, 7 guys who play for and the 4 foreigners. So that's an unbeatable team.
Absolutely. Bharat, I would like to speak to you about Shikha Pandey. I think Shikha was bowling well. Of course, Matthews was a little lucky, but
Yeah, so see someone obviously she has that wisdom of experience. She would have gauged the wicket pretty well. So yeah, she's stuck to her strengths. She gets a little bit of sea movement at her best. Someone pitches the ball up, gets a little bit of sea movement, and yeah, she has decent variations. So this she knows just to stick to her basics. But obviously, with just 105 runs on the board, they didn't really have much of a chance.
true. Joydeep, Marizane kept bowling too short again. I mean, we can always say that it's just 105 runs, but I'm saying in general, she hasn't been in good bowling form. In general,
Yeah.
has she bowled too short?
Yeah, trifle too short. I think the wickets in South Africa wickets are a little different, although it's Mumbai and red soil and everything else. I also feel the size of the boundaries, and I say this in general, not just today. If it's a 55-yard boundary or 54-yard boundary, that's playing into the hand of the overseas players. They're making a feast out of this. Now, you're probably doing this to get the Indian players, I mean, the non Indian players, the domestic players in the party. But I think it should be about a 60-yard boundary because then it'll be really good. Because right now, what's happening is the Aussies and South Africans, the one who play international cricket, they're making a feast out of this one. And
Right.
yeah, answer your question, I think it's too short. I think the length. See, red soil also sometimes just sits up to be hit. Then you got to be that quick, and obviously she's not. Nobody is. So yeah, your length can be fuller. Even Shikha was today. Couple of times she got hit over mid wicket and all that. So sometimes what happens is when you're quick, or you feel that you should bowl short. But Julian is a great example. You've seen her from so close, Trisha. She will still bowl full because that's when the swing comes. And there are 2 types of bowlers. One is hit the deck, one is release. I think she's more of a hit the deck bowler, whereas Julian
Yes.
was more of a release bowler. So you can be quick by hitting the deck like a Umesh Yadav, or you can be, see, like sort of, see movement and be quick like a Jimmy Anderson. They're 2 different bowlers, but I think they're both hit the deck bowlers. So that's the reason why they are on the shorter side.
Yeah, she's tall bowler as well, so she would generally hit a short length, back of length, good length. So yeah, obviously she's also played a lot in South Africa, so there the traditional length would be slightly shorter. It could be it could be slightly three-quarter length or back of length. So I think that she's sort of adjusted to the South African conditions.
Joydeep, you have been with KKR. So right now, if you're already wearing the cap, so wear the coach's cap. Right now, if you wear the MI coach, and I will obviously come to Bharat also with the same question, what would you be telling the girls? Superb momentum, but if you had to address the girls, what would you be telling them?
Enjoy the evening. We really had a good evening, and tomorrow's another day. Start from scratch.
Bharat?
Yeah, something similar. Every game starts from zero for zero, right? So yeah, just uh, just find the erase button somewhere in your mind and just erase the last game and look forward. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but every match starts from 0 for 0. So that's what you have to think.
Trisha, on
Now,
these tournaments, in these tournaments, it's very important to hit the straps quickly. But it's not a 2 month tournament. It's a 3 week tournament. It's not like the IPL. I'm sure one day it's going to become a 2 month tournament, but right now it's not. So hit the straps quickly. Number one. Number two is that you want to keep the momentum going, because you just want to be in the top four to be able to play the final and then everything else that comes with it. So because it's the shortest tournament, you don't want to let this momentum go. You're in a nice groove and you want to keep it going.
when you speak about momentum going, there's a small. I would say this as a momentum break for Delhi Capitals, because of course it's not like all is lost. So now you wear the Delhi Capitals coach's cap rather. You're on mute. Yeah, yeah, Joydeep, the question's for you. Delhi Capitals.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I would just say, listen, we had a bad day in office. Let's forget about it. Let's not try and dissect because nothing went right for us. I think, and as Bharat rightly said that, Meg Lanning was, I mean, she every time she thought she'd press on the accelerator, wickets fell around. So she thought, let me just stay there as long as I can and hopefully we had to get to a total where we can fight. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for them. But just forget about it and tomorrow go back to, to the basics again and start the next match fresh. Put this absolutely out in the bin and also out in the recycle bin.
Well, tomorrow obviously will be yet another day, but the points table is now becoming a little more interesting. Bharat, only RCB without any points still now, but it's pretty becoming a little more interesting than the first few days.
Yeah, but still the DC and Mumbai, it looked like the better sides. They seem like they would be the top two sides. But yeah, it's looking a little more interesting. Just wanted to add a point. I last time I talked about actually when I said the erase button, I talked about Delhi. Yeah, that thing.
Yes,
I talked
that
about
I
that.
realized.
I had Delhi in mind, and that's why I talked like that. So yeah, obviously, as far as Mumbai is concerned, obviously they have the momentum, and when you have the momentum, obviously you don't want to lose it, and you just want to continue winning matches, more matches, as many as possible.
Joseph, can this having the momentum at times, get to you? You're thinking we have the momentum, everything is going our way, and can that make you a little complacent?
There'll be enough people to tell you not to fall in that trap. There'll be enough coaching staff and senior players telling you, feet on the ground, feet on the ground. We're off to a great start. And there will come a game where Mumbai will also might falter. And sometimes that's not the worst thing. It brings you down to earth. Like this game for Delhi might have just brought them down to earth and said, we have a lot of work to do instead of being in auto mode. It's not the worst thing to happen. But even if it doesn't happen, the coaching staff will make them remember that we're in a big groove, and like I said, it's not a really long tournament, so you can hold on to it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, you can.
Bharat,
If I want to add something, you can look at some other sport like tennis. You look at say the Djokovic and the Nadals of the world when they win 7 matches in a row, 22 Grand Slams each. Just when they have that momentum, they just don't seem to lose it. It's like you saw in the Australian Open last year. No one really rated Nadal. Even when Djokovic wasn't playing, no one really rated him. So, but once he got that momentum, because even though he was coming back from an injury, once he got that momentum, Shapovalov or whoever it was, over 5 sets or Medvedev, he just kept on winning. That's how we just have to keep maintaining that momentum.
absolutely. Bharat, tomorrow, RCB versus UP Warriors. What are you expecting?
Yeah,
By
RCB obviously, I don't see where they're going to win now. Maybe law of averages you might say. If they keep losing somewhere, they will win one. But as far as their unit is concerned, just look at say how Smriti Mandhana is herself captaining the side. That body language, it just doesn't feel like it's a side that is going to win too many matches as of now. It almost feels like it's better if they give the captaincy to Ether Knight and see something else happens. Obviously, uh, they, at this point of time, I don't know whether they want to take such a bold decision, but it doesn't seem like this Mitimana can chart a turnaround with RCB. But yeah, who knows? Law of averages, they will win one game somewhere and
Jadip, before the WPL started, I remember we were discussing that if Smriti did well and probably Harman's team didn't do well, there will be questions on Harman and Harman's captaincy specifically. Now, with Smriti not performing as a captain, questions on her being the future captain, you think, or too early to judge?
No, I think so. I think that's the reason why I think she will not leave the captaincy. She would not want it to go to somebody else. And I agree with Bharat is saying, I think it's too early still. I think it's really early days. I mean, yeah, it hasn't gone their way. I'm not saying they're going to end up being number one, but it's just that no need to panic because she's a special player. And you're going to treat special players, you're going to give them a longer rope. And I think the fact that she hasn't got off to a flyer herself is also telling on her more than anybody else. And some people tend to be the ones that if they don't perform at their best, then this shows on their captaincy. Some don't. I always feel that those are the real good captains who, in spite of not having a great run with bat or ball, still captain well. But that's easier said than done. Most cases you will see that it tells on your captaincy. And that is one of the prerequisites when we go and try and pick a team captain for Bengal or under 19 or anybody. We want somebody who is not so much into his own game that it affects the captaincy. But if Harman takes a break or is injured tomorrow, Smriti is the vice captain of the Indian team and she needs to captain. And just because she has that one WPL bat doesn't make her a bad captain. It is just one tournament, 3 weeks. I think she leads a long rope. She deserves it.
I just wanted to add one thing. If you say go back in time, say 42 years ago, if you look at the 1981 Ashes when Kim Hughes was the captain, the one thing that people used to criticize him was he used to follow the ball. If for example, if a ball would go, if a shot would go somewhere over the slip corner, he would put a fly slip, or somewhere else it would go, he would again follow the ball. And that's what I feel that with Smriti Mandan as well. When I watch her as captain, if you look at, as I said in the last program as well, when Heather Knight took a couple of wickets, she brought her into the attack in the 19th over just because she took 2 wickets. Similar with how if you look at the pattern with how she decides after winning the toss, she seems to follow that pattern where if something happens, good, and then she will do the same thing the next over. Or, if, for example, if the toss, winning the toss, it doesn't go well, then she changes it. It doesn't. She doesn't exactly go as per the conditions.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for the post-match show. Tomorrow, another new day
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
WPL, and of course, Border Gavaskar Trophy, fourth Test match, second day. We will be here doing lives all throughout the day. When I say all throughout the day, not every hour. At 9 a.m., we'll be live with teeing off, and then, of course, we'll have the Border Gavaskar Trophy and WPL discussion at 6:30, and we will be back for the post show as well. Thank you, Joydeep, for joining. I hope you will be there tomorrow. And Bharat, of course, thank you for your insights. And I
Thank
hope
you.
you will be there tomorrow too. And most importantly, I hope you guys will be there with us tomorrow. Stay tuned. Keep watching Rev Sports. Keep following Rev Sports. And have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.